try telling your African, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Rwanda, anything, any country in Africa, go try telling your African mom, I'm depressed. Hey, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́. Hey, you are not depressed in Jesus' name. I come against the enemy of depression. I come against the spirit of depression. Hey, depression will not ruin your life in Jesus' name. Like, can I just go see a therapist? Like, Orieti Daru, Orieti Baje, like, you talk. Okay, so the short answer, if we want to get to the short answer is I'm beating on my DSM. Yes, Black people are human beings. Shumbo, are you understanding me today? Can you hear me? We are human what? Beings. We are human beings. Even though we magic, doesn't mean we not real. I think that's how it went. I'm not sure. But yes, Black people do get depressed. Just like the white and the pink and the purple people. Hey, Black people don't get depressed. They're onto something. Hang in there. I think when people say that Black people do not get depressed, it's due to the resilience that Black people have. Black people are resilient. Black people have survived colonialism, ethnic genocides. We've survived slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights era. We are currently surviving mass incarceration that I'm pretty sure that we all know that this time that we're living today will be in textbooks in a couple of years. Our children's children will read about this time and they'll read about our resilience at this time. Smith 2009 in Resilience, Resistance Factor for Depressive Symptoms. It's an article, okay? Because we do our research around here. So Smith 2009 talks about the resilience of Black people. He talks about how that resilience is a positive and protective factor for depression. So resilience can help with depressive symptoms. Black people are resilient, but like I said, we are human. Smith 2009 says resilience is a group or individual's way or ability to solve problems for survival. And like the examples I gave before, we see that African Americans are historically, Black people as well, are historically resilient in this world. But although resilience is a protective factor, it is not an excuse to ignore mental health. I'll say it one more time. Resilience is not an excuse to ignore mental health. Community, as a Black community, we need to couple our resilience with the willingness to seek mental health service. Okay, so although the resilience of African American people, Black people, is a protective factor, there are also so many risk factors that really put African American people at risk for mental illnesses like depression, homelessness, poverty, being exposed to violence, racism, and discrimination. Those are all risk factors that work against African American people that make them more susceptible to mental illnesses, like I talked about in my self-care video. Check it out. Anyways, so some stats on that is, so as we know, that a lot of us probably do know, that America is 13% Black or African American. 16% of Black and African American people have a diagnosable mental illness. 16% out of a 13% population. Let that sit in. Black people are 20% more likely to admit to having psychological distress compared to their white counterparts. African Americans that are living below the poverty line are 3 times more likely than their white counterparts to report psychological distress. Due to high crime rates in African American communities, a lot of African American people suffer, African American and Black people suffer from illnesses like PTSD. African American and Black people are more likely to report feelings of sadness and worthlessness. African American teens are more likely to attempt suicide than their white counterparts, but white people are more likely to be successful in their suicide. This is not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That means that our community needs help. Yes, Black people can be depressed. Black people can have mental illnesses. So, since this is such a prevalent issue in the African American community and Black community, why don't African American people seek help for mental health? It's the stigma. It's the lack of information. It's the misunderstanding of mental health. It's the stigma of being labeled as crazy or weak. It's the mindset that it's something that you can just pray away or get over with a snap of a finger. And even being a Nigerian, I can't not say I'm America, but I can say I'm Nigerian. But being a Nigerian, even the way that our language, well, my language, Yoruba, my language, even the way that we use certain insults to insult people, we are just making fun. Like, Shoya Werini, Orieti Daru, Orieti Baje. Like, you're talking about people's mental state all the time when you are insulting them. So when someone actually, Otiya Weri, Abi, and so, like, yeah, the person's crazy. Like, not crazy. In the professional mental health world, we don't call people crazy. That's not a thing. Telling your African, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Rwanda, anything, any country in Africa, go try telling your African mom, I'm depressed. Hey! Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́. Hey! You are not depressed in Jesus' name. I come against the enemy of depression. I come against the spirit of depression. Hey! Depression will not ruin your life in Jesus' name. Like, can I just go see a therapist? Like, and it's crazy because when it comes to physical ailments, we don't have the same exact reaction. Yes, we still believe in the same exact way. As a Christian, I'm a Christian as well, that God can help us and save us, and He can heal. Yes, He can heal. But when you have cancer, where you go? I'm waiting. Okay, when you break your leg and your arm and your feet, where do you go? Or the hospital. You are going to the hospital. Stop playing. Don't be deceiving yourself. So in the same way, we can trust and we can believe God, and that was another point. We can go to therapy. Barriers of African Americans seeking mental health services is the distrust of professionals. Historically, in general, it's been very disproportionate the amount of medical information, and access to medical services to the Black community. So a lot of times, Black people don't have the same trust for mental health, or medical professionals. And there also exists this bias. We live in a racist society, and I will continuously say this because this definitely affects our mental health. And there is a lot of bias, especially with diagnosis. There's a lot of misdiagnosis. African American people are most likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. Misdiagnosed with schizophrenia. So everything like that is just, you don't want anything to do with mental health. But at the end of the day, we can't ignore the mental health issue in our community. So what's the solution? Let me get my DSM again. What's the solution? Find a Black therapist. Find yourself a Black therapist. I have a Black therapist. I know a lot of my friends who have Black therapists, and they love it, and they feel comfortable, and they feel like somebody understands them and understands their culture and understand where they come from. It speaks like them. So you can find Black therapists on Psychology Today. You just do a search for your area. I think it's gonna ask you to put your zip code in or whatever, but that's all you got. Okay, so this video just opens up my series that I'm going to do on psychoeducation. I really want to educate the Black community on mental health, because a lot of times the things I be seeing in the internet, we just misinformed, and it's not fair, because a lot of our white counterparts, they understand mental health and they're able to help their loved ones, and I just wish for us the same exact thing. Also, I'm gonna talk about some misconceptions when it comes to mental health, like what it means to be depressed, clinically depressed, and diagnosed with depression, and what it means to have depressive symptoms, things like that. Come on, come join me and watch out for my first video to this series. This is like an intro to the series. Now we're gonna have a series to the series, and the first video is gonna be about depression. I hope that y'all gonna tune in. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be nice. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend's mother. We all gonna learn. Peace.